Hey, I've been getting a lot of good comments on my last video on how I went from $15 an hour to 300K a year um, with appointment setting. And I want to clarify two things. Number one, I didn't start with one job and stay at that one job forever to make 300K a year. Obviously, without saying, you need to develop your skills and continue to there's two paths to make more in really all jobs and all roles. One being staying as an individual contributor, and that means that you're the person that performed the task, right? So the appointment setter sets the appointment. Another individual contributor, also called IC, role is a closer, right? So if you want to make more money, definitely go on from a setter to a closer. You definitely have more money and more making money opportunity and potentials there. The second route to go and make more money is becoming a manager, or a director or a leader of the function, right? So with appointment setting, instead of becoming instead of being an individual contributor as an appointment setter, you can manage other setters, right? And that's called a manager, a frontline manager. You can also, the next step after that is you can move into a director or a level where you manage the managers, and then the managers manage the individual contributors, if that makes sense. So obviously there's levels to this, but to make more, you got to continue to develop your skill sets, right? But the next thing I want to talk about is, if I were to start again today, how would I get started and what would I do, right? So this is applicable to anyone who's wanting to start making money online, quote unquote, working in a role, in a job that is a little bit more stable and secure than starting your own business. If you're like me, when I was starting out, I started all sorts of businesses. I started book publishing, ghost book, like an anonymous book publishing business. I tried to start an e-com, like t-shirt design business. I tried to start a Amazon private label. I tried it all, and I actually not wasted, but I actually put a lot of money into the business without actually making any money. And so the safest way, and how I would start again today, is not to buy into the flashy gurus online selling a course on SMMAs, or starting a drop shipping business, or an e-com brand, or an agency. What I would start today, if I want to make money virtually, is I would try to do exactly what I did, which is get a job as an appointment setter or a sales development rep. It's easy to get into. It doesn't require a lot of skill set, as long as you know a little bit of you have a little bit of foundation. It's guarantee or more stable in the sense that a company is willing to pay you money if you can perform one simple task. What a lot of course gurus and online YouTube celebrities will not tell you about starting your own business is there's so many moving pieces to a business that it's really doing you a disservice by not giving you the full picture. And I don't blame them. There's no hate here, right? The job of marketing is to sell the benefits of an opportunity, but I wish that I have sought out help and support and guidance, and I wish that I had somebody kind of like me now to give me direction and recommendations when I was starting out. So if I was to start today, here's exactly what I would do. I would, number one, probably binge watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to become an appointment setter from somebody who's doing it, and preferably from somebody who doesn't have a course. Like, if somebody has an appointment setting course or a community or a paid program, I know that there's probably an agenda behind it, right? Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But for you to learn the actual skill set behind the appointment setting, it's probably going to be either behind a paywall, or there's usually an agenda for lead capture and lead gen after that, right? So I would probably read or watch a few videos on YouTube just to understand what is appointment setting, and then I would go and try to find an entry-level job as an appointment setter, right? And so if you don't have a lot of money, if you have zero money but you have a lot of time, here's what I would do. And this is kind of what I did. I kind of lucked out with my first job, but here's exactly what I would do. I would, once I have a basic understanding of what an appointment setter does, I would go out and find um, 50 companies who I would want to work for. So the way to think about this is look at what you're already interested in, and then make a list of those companies or a type of companies that you would like to work for. Okay, so in my case, back in the day, I was really interested in software companies, and a little bit like marketing. So I actually reached out to people that I knew in my network, who I knew was already in software or in agency, and really I just reached out to all of my contacts, friends, colleagues, people from school that has an online business, right? And it was beyond just software. So I reached out to everyone that was in online because I knew if they're online, their jobs or their company is probably remote, right? And I just basically asked them, hey, are you looking for somebody to help you with sales? And I think I reached out to 20 or 10 of my companies, and I also applied to a few online companies. And one of my friends actually responded. They are in a marketing, but also like software space. And I was hired in as the first appointment, making $15 an hour. So that's exactly what I would do to get started. Now, it would help further your journey along if you had like basic education, like taking a course on appointment setting, but it's not required. Typically, a company would provide some sort of training, and that's all you need to get started. Now, to get really, really good, you obviously have to invest in your own learning. Through that company, I actually, because I was growing so fast and so eager to learn, I actually got them to actually pay for my own education. I remember one of the first investment that I asked them to invest in me was a ticket to the 10X conference, Grant Cardone. I think it was a very first 10X conference that Grant Cardone did. And I met some friends there, and I actually met a client there, meaning that we met there back then I think this was 2016. And then he became a client in this year, in 2023. Out of the blue. So you never know where you're gonna go and how you're gonna learn. But so what I'm trying to say is get started, start reaching out, look at the industry that you're interested in. If you're interested in like music or like sports, there are actually like online companies now that focus on that, and you can definitely make a list and reach out to them. Obviously, there's an art, a science to outreach, and I'll make more videos on that, on how to stand out as a candidate. But that's exactly what I would do. Get educated on the basic of appointment setting. Make a list of 20 companies that you'd like to work for because you're interested in it. And number 3, reach out, introduce yourself, ask them if they have any opening or any roles or any sales related role, even on a commission only basis, right? You're just looking for experience. And if you're good and you're dedicated, the companies will often want to invest more in you. I also, with this company, I was sent to a training. Again, this is back in 2017. For sales development reps at basically a software training conference. And that was a launch pad for me becoming a manager as an appointment setter manager or a sales development manager in the software world. And that also led to me turning into a head of sales, led me to leading a team and scale it to $1 million a month in revenue. At an education-based company. So you never know what your journey is going to be, but the first step is to get started. And most people watch and don't take action. You definitely don't need a course to get started. It would help. That's why I caution against buying a course just to get started. I'm not against buying courses overall. I'm the biggest, the worst person there is with this because I buy a lot of courses and invest in a lot of coaching. Sometimes I feel like too much, but I'm digressing now, but that's the main message I wanna share with you. If you wanna make 6 figures as an appointment setter, it is possible, but it will be hard and it will take a lot of hard work and hustle, and with the right opportunity and the right company, but it's not impossible. I just wanna be real and be honest with you that most appointment setters, most sales development reps, even in the software world, don't make 6 figures, but the top 1 to 5% do, and it requires 3 things, right? 1, you have to be good. Two, the company has to be good, meaning the opportunity for you to earn that much has to be good. And number three, it requires a little bit of luck, to be honest with you. So like, I'll tell you, I know appointment setters and SDRs that make six figures, but that's only because number one, they're good. And number two, the vehicle they're in, right? Hormozi talks about this too. The vehicle that they're in allows them to make that much. Otherwise, if you're in the 99% of companies that I come across, you're not going to be able to make six figures even if you're the best setter there is in that role. But it doesn't mean that it's not the place to start, right? So get started. It's possible, but hey, listen, you know what? You can make 50, 60, 80K per year remotely as an appointment setter, SDR, as the right company, and then move on and develop your skill to move on to the next step. Okay, so hopefully this helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop a comment below. Subscribe, because I'm gonna drop more content and courses and videos just like this, and maybe I'll actually go through a video on how to I'll teach you how to get a job and get started in appointment setting without having to pay for a course. Cheers.